Hi, Dolphins. How's everyone doing? Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jay Castellanos. I'm a career counselor for CSUCI. I thank you for joining us for another episode of Pod Talks. I'm very excited to introduce our guest today. Our guest, Dr. Alexander, is a director of outreach and enrollment services at Cuesta College. Dr. Alexander graduated from CI with a Bachelor's of Arts in Communication, and he earned his doctorate degree from Fresno State University in Educational Leadership. In his free time, he likes to play way too many video games, and he hosts his very own podcast. Let us please welcome to the show, Dr. Alexander. My friend, thank you for being here with us.
I, thank you, Jay, for inviting me. I enjoy talking. Apparently, I have a podcast, so I enjoy talking. So, got my BA in communication. I guess that's another sign that I like talking. So, no, thank you for reaching out and inviting me to do this. I'm excited.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we'll just get ahead and get started. Since this is our first time talking, just checking in. How are you doing, and how are you staying safe and well during these times?
Yeah, I mean, these times are crazy. The easiest way, I guess, to stay safe is just stay away. um, so I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, Compton, California, and I haven't been home in at least 10 months, maybe 9, 10 months. It's just really, stay away. I have a young child, so really just trying to be safe and be there for her. So, we stay away, but when we do go out, socially distance, wear a mask everywhere we go. It's interesting because, my daughter's 2, but when we're not wearing our masks, she'll like put it on us because she's so used to us wearing masks. And it's just a really crazy time. But staying safe, staying away from folks, and if we do meet up with people, stay outdoors. That's kind of what we're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Staying diligent with this thing, and we're getting through it slowly but surely.
Yep. Hopefully not too much longer.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so, Dr. Alexander, please tell us, what goes into the role as a director of outreach and enrollment services, and what do you get to do for a day to day?
Yeah. So I mean, with COVID, it's completely different. My day to day. But as a director of outreach and enrollment, is really my job and my goal is to really engage with the community here in San Luis Obispo County. That's where I'm at right now. Is really to engage with our high school students, our community members, those who live in the county, and really let them know about all of the great opportunities that we have here at Cuesta College, and how affordable an education is, particularly here at Cuesta College. We offer a ton of different programs. For example, those who are graduating fresh from high school, a GED, adult school, anything of that nature. If they come to us directly after graduating that semester, we give them 2 years of free education. We'll pay, all of their fees for 2 years. And then we have tons of scholarships to help pay for books. So we really try to make education accessible to all students. So in my day-to-day role is getting that information out, talking to high school students, talking to families, and just really letting them know like this is a viable option if you would like to, obtain a degree, whether that's in AA or whether you're looking to transfer to a 4-year, we have those opportunities as well. I mean, at Cuesta, we have over 30 degrees that guarantee admission into a CSU. So I tell students all the time, I can save you as low as $30,000 if you come here for 2 years. So, give us a shot. So that's my day to day. It's a car salesman for education.
Right on. That's awesome. That's really, really awesome. Yeah, being a product of the California Community College system myself, I know how quality of education that is, and affordable it is, and just yeah, I appreciate even just you mentioning the access part of that as well. So that's really cool. Um, all right, next question. What are some pieces of advice that you would share with our current graduating seniors ready to, get into the workforce, ready to, looking for some work jobs that, especially today where it's a tougher work in, environment, and pretty hard. So what kind of advices would you share with our graduating seniors and alumni that are searching for full-time?
My number one advice that I give everybody in terms of searching, it's one, never self-eliminate yourself. And what I mean by that is there's times where we'll see a position that we really want, but then we read the qualifications or we read the title of the position, and we immediately tell ourselves that we're not eligible for that position. Maybe we don't meet all of those requirements that there are, those qualifications that they're looking for. So we immediately just move on and go to something that we feel is more attainable. What I tell everyone when they come to me with that, for advice, like, hey, there's this position I want, but I don't think I qualify for it, or I don't think I'm going to get it. How do you know? Never self-eliminate yourself. Put that on the committee, put that on the hiring committee, put that on the search firm, put your application in, put all your documents in, and let that, see where that falls, see where that can be. That's how I ended up in this role. I wasn't an enrollment person. I had no experience in admissions, but I know outreach. I knew how to talk to people. I knew how to, motivate them to go to school. But there were other pieces that I didn't have experience in. But throw your name in the hat, and someone will probably give you an opportunity and a shot. And that's exactly what happened here. So I live by that. Shoot your shot. I mean, the only thing that can happen if you don't apply for a job that you don't think you're qualified for is don't get it. So you're in the same position that you were before to start. So what's the difference between, job applications and college applications? Job applications are free. It costs nothing. You're not putting any money in. You're putting time in, obviously, to update your resume or cover letters and researching, right? But outside of that, it's free. So there's no reason to hold yourself back. Put the pressure on that hiring agency or that committee to eliminate you, but never self-eliminate yourself. That's my number one advice that I give to all graduating seniors. They like, oh, I didn't have any internships here. Okay, you never know though. They might be looking for someone who's eager to get in and learn. So never self-eliminate yourself. That would be my number one advice that I would give. Alum, graduating senior, just throw your name in a hat and see what happens.
That's awesome. I really appreciate hearing that. And I think, yeah, it's not the amount of no's you hear, but it's that one yes that you hear.
That one, yes. And like I say, you hear a no, then you're just in the same position you were before. Like you don't lose anything. So you might as well just throw your name in there.
That's awesome. All right. So thinking about on the job search topic, for anyone listening, anyone joining us today that's interested in working in higher ed, like yourself, what kind of advice would you give to someone who's looking to do that? Are there any trends you're seeing in the higher ed industry that would be something to share for them?
I mean, I think the trendy thing right now is, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like that's the trendy thing right now in all fields. Hopefully it stops being so trendy and actually be a real thing, and people actually really focus on it. But what I tell people in terms of if they want to get in higher education or education in general, it's really find out what it is about higher ed or education that you want to do, or what you're seeking to get out of it, or what you're seeking to put into it. Because it's a field that you're not going to make a lot of money unless you reach the highest levels of the field. So if it's a certain way of life that you want to live, and the passion to educate, the passion to provide access isn't necessarily there, the politics of education can wear you down, and you might not stick with it. So, and that's with every position. It has to be more than just a paycheck driving you in whatever position you want. I know people who were engineers and left engineering because they were like, it just wasn't fulfilling me enough. Had a great paycheck. It was just hard to get up and go make that money, right? So really find what it is about education. So for me, it's access, right? I am so driven and passionate to making sure that everyone has access to this thing that we call education. So that drives me every single day. to ensure that whatever barriers are in the way, I'm doing everything that I can to remove that, to ensure that people have access. No one should be shut out from an opportunity to educate themselves, to better themselves, to get a degree, to change the trajectory of their family's life forever through this thing called education. So for me, that fuels my fire. So I tell everybody, you need to find that what that fuel is, because there are a lot of things that will diminish that fuel. COVID is one of those. I love engaging and interacting with students. I haven't been able to do that in a year. So if there was no other passion other than just I want to see students every day, it's very difficult to get through these times. But knowing that access has even been harder for students during COVID, it gave me more fire to do more, because more and more everyone doesn't have access to internet as much as we say they do. Access looks different. Yes, I can access the internet on my phone, but do I have a laptop? Do I have a computer at home? Right? It's hard to do homework via Canvas on an iPhone. It's very difficult. So understanding those things and those barriers, right, and those inequities when we talk about the trending topics, how do we provide students assistance outside of just, all right, you don't have an internet or a laptop, I'm gonna give you a laptop, but do you know how to use it? So there's so many pieces there, for me, that keeps my fire lit. So I say for others, in that long tangent, whatever it is that you have to find that igniter, what is it that keeps that fire lit? Because if not, it'll make any job difficult to do on a day-to-day.
Right on. I like that. Now thinking on your career path and and your career journey, was there any career advice that has stood out to you that you've used that you were like, oh wow, like that one has really helped me out in different ways?
Any career advice? It applies to a career, and it also applies to like finishing, obtaining a degree or going further. Um, um, Dr. Mike Marion, a colleague, he said once, and hopefully I get this quote correct. It's, if you think the price of success is too high, wait till you get the bill for mediocrity, right? And he told that to me when I was, struggling in school, and was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. I don't really feel it. I don't want to go through it. And he was like, well, yes, it's tough, it's difficult right now, and the cost seems high, right? I was away from home. I was, in Virginia at the time, struggling. And so it was just a lot of things. He was like, so it's tough right now, and the cost seems really, really high, right? You're sacrificing time with your family, you're sacrificing just personal time because you're devoted to, school and all these things. But imagine if you don't obtain this degree and you don't finish. What is it going to look like on the back end if you just don't finish this cost right now, right? So that, for me, I take that with everything, right? It's, yes, the cost of this success or what I'm doing right now, it's difficult, it's hard, it's a rough time, but I know when I finish, the benefits will outweigh if I don't finish, right? So for me, when I think about all those things, when times get rough, when times get hard, I think about, the benefits on the back end of all that hard work, versus the negative impact that if I just don't stick it out or if I quit, what that can look like on the reverse end. So I would say that would be the one thing that sticks with me a lot. It's, yes, it's hard right now, but it's just temporary. But if I don't get through it, this rough patch can be much longer because I didn't push through.
Absolutely, yeah. I want to take one piece of your career journey, and that's focusing on grad school, right? So a lot of our current students, they consider grad school, they're considering grad school right now at this very moment. What would you say to our students considering grad school who might be in the midst of applying to grad school? Advice for them as they enter into that further education post their bachelor's degree.
Um, don't do what I did my first go around with post secondary education, right, with grad school, because I ended up, actually not meeting the standards of my first grad program. The standards is you must maintain a B average, a 3.0. I had like a 2.98 after a while, and they let me go. But the reason for that was I went to grad school because I didn't think I had any other options, right? It wasn't necessarily I was really invested in going into corporate and professional communication, which was the program. It was, all right, I'm graduating. I don't have a job. I think I'm just gonna keep going to school. And that necessarily, I mean, it turned out not to be the best decision because I didn't really want to continue school at that time. Obviously, I've done better. I got my doctorate, but so what I tell students when they start thinking about going to grad school, it's what is the reason for it? What is the outcome that you're trying to obtain and achieve? Because in some fields you don't even need to go. So are you going for just fulfillment? Then that's great, right? Fulfillment, you're a lifelong learner, you want to learn more. That's great. But if there's no real purpose for you going and obtaining that secondary degree, um, there's really no need. It'll make it difficult. It'll make it more tough when you're going through it, and you know there's no reason for you to actually be doing this right now. So once again, same thing with careers. Have that purpose. You need to have that purpose. Without purpose, it makes it hard to stick through these things. And then do your research. Research. I mean, I didn't really research any grad schools. I just knew this was a program. I could probably get in. I'm going to go. And at the end of the day, it didn't meet my career goals. They didn't align. So really do your research and don't be afraid to, go outside of your comfort zone. Like for me, I left California. That was for the first time I've ever left California to go to grad school. So I had to get out my comfort zone as well. And it helped me grow immensely. And I think it's made me a better professional and a better person all around, being able to, be uncomfortable for a few years.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. And thinking from that, just, I think one theme I'm hearing here from you is, sticking through with passion and purpose can help ignite and motivate you to get through anything. And for anyone listening in today, I call for you to check in on yourself about that. And Dr. Alexander, just a couple other last questions for you. One being, how are you staying today connected with the CSUCI community?
I'm starting to get better at it. I graduated in 2009, and outside of a few faculty and staff that work there, a few alum now, I really wasn't doing as great as a job as I thought I should be doing as staying connected. But just recently, I started having conversations with those on campus, some alum, to start an alumni chapter for Black students. I started CI in 2004, so we were fresh out the gate. I was the first one to sleep in my bed in Anna Kappa, which was just great. No one slept in that room or that bed before. I was the first one, but we were so fresh and so new, and that community that I built between Black students, the Black faculty and staff really helped me get through. And as I started moving up in the field and moving further and further away from CI and being connected, I started feeling like there was more that we can be doing to help the current student population or to help our alum. There's alum who are looking for jobs, and we are now in so many different fields across the country where we can be benefiting and assisting our alum, our recent graduates, our seniors. So right now, I'm trying to get more connected as I'm working on building this chapter and working with CI. So hopefully, if I come back and you ask me that question, I can say all these things that I'm done and that I'm connected with. But as of right now, I'm in the very early stages of reconnecting with my alum CI. So
That's awesome. That's I can, I know the hard work you're putting in to make that run and to make that go. And that's going to be an amazing resource for our students and alumni that identify with the Black community. And just thank you for putting in that work and being there. And For today, my final question for you is, do you have any last words of inspiration or motivation for anyone listening in today?
Um, just keep pushing through. Like times are tough. There's no way to sugarcoat how tough times have been, especially this year. Um, Being moved into a virtual world, being kind of snatched away from that social interaction piece, engaging in any normalcy in normal ways. Like I graduated with my doctorate last year and I didn't have a graduation. So I understand when like my students were like, we really want to graduate. Like I feel you. Trust me, I understand all the hard work and not really having that celebrated the way that you and your family wanted to. But for me, just continue to push through. Um, Continue to find things that excite you. Um, and it doesn't always have to be work related. Like I said earlier in the intro, right? I started a podcast, just things to excite me. I enjoy doing this, talking to people, learning about other aspects and other careers or what's going on, or just talking about pop culture. As you know, things were getting stagnant. I was just sitting at home all the time and playing way too many video games. It's like we need to do something else. So always just trying to just keep something lit, keep something ignited, something different, explore. And as we are, wrapping up here, it's April, so it's the home stretch before the end of this semester. So I think it was y'all spring break was a couple weeks ago, or so you got to recharge your batteries. So finish strong. You have made it this far. Everyone from freshmen to graduating seniors, or right, just keep pushing, continue to push on, persevere. And once again, knowing that whatever the moment is right now is temporary and there's something better on the other end for you. So just continue to keep pushing through.
Awesome words of advice there. Thank you, Dr. Alexander, for your time, your energy. It's much appreciated, and hope to talk with you soon and have you on again in the future. I really appreciated having you today.
All right. Once again, thank you again. And I mean, anything I can do in the future, I'm always here.
Absolutely. All right, my friend, take care.
All right.